Hey everyone, it's Chris Loud. In this demo, I'll show you an abstract painting technique on how I transform chaos into art through painting the negative spaces. On days when we feel overwhelmed with our thoughts, this exercise is a great way to have fun using all the clutter in our heads to make a mess on paper and then reshape it into art. I'll also go over how this technique can benefit both your art and your well-being. So I'm starting out by putting all my stress and random thoughts onto this page. I could do this by adding items that represent what I'm thinking about, such as a piece of classified ads if I'm worried about my job, or a stamp if I was thinking about a letter I received. But I could also just let other random items take their place to create the mess. And that's what I did in this piece. I wasn't thinking much about appetizers when I started this. That was just a word that I ripped out of the paper. And when I say clutter, that doesn't have to be major life stressors. It can just be a bunch of little things that are taking up space in our heads. So, no matter how trivial that might seem. So I just started by putting down a lot of different newsprint, some collage paper, made some marks with a wax pastel, used a homemade stencil from a glue gun, and I did a little bit of water-based spray paint on that. And now I'm just putting down a stencil with some numbers on it. And really, I'm just, again, the whole thing here is I'm just kind of letting go of everything in my head, and I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing too much. But keep in mind, even when we're making a mess, our natural inclination is to try and make interesting looking art. So as much as I say this is very random, and for the most part it is, I am looking at this through artist's eyes, trying to think, what can I do here to make this look good, and are these colors working? Is there balance? All the while trying to keep in mind, okay, that doesn't matter. I'm just putting down marks. I'm just putting down paint, and trying to get some kind of chaotic underpainting, and let my mind kind of rest and become at ease, really. And this is great for mental decluttering. The process of freely applying paint and paper and other media without overthinking allows us to release pent-up thoughts and emotions. It's a way to declutter our mind by transferring that inner chaos onto the paper. And it helps us feel more mentally clear and focused. And it's also great for stress relief. The act of making a mess can be a great stress reliever, allowing you to kind of vent your frustrations and your anxiety in a productive and creative way. And as we tame that chaos through negative space painting, like I'm going to do here in a minute, we might find a sense of calm and satisfaction. And before I forget, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. And as always, if you have any feedback or questions, I'd love for you to leave me a comment. So this is also a great practice for embracing imperfection. So by starting with chaos, we learn to embrace imperfection and let go of the need for control. So this exercise encourages you to trust the process, which can be liberating and can translate into other areas of your life and art practice. And really, this chaotic mess, I like the way it looks. But the whole idea here is to kind of put that mess down and then try and make something from it. So it's really kind of about creative exploration as well. The initial chaotic mess serves as kind of a playground for creative exploration. We may discover new textures, color combinations, or patterns that we wouldn't have thought of deliberately. And this spontaneous approach can lead to unexpected and kind of exciting results, I think. So I'm kind of working, starting out the negative space painting. Painting in the negative space requires consideration of composition and balance. So you saw me kind of put down the lines that I wanted to paint between, basically, kind of where the negative space was going to be filled in, without paying attention to any kind of detail to what I was painting around. But this practice, can hone your ability to see potential in what might initially seem like, a random and overwhelming underpainting. It helps us sharpen our eye for detail and improving our overall technique. And it kind of has a transformative power that this exercise illustrates the power of transformation in art, by turning something chaotic into something more simple and more organized, we're reminded that beauty can emerge from that disorder. It's kind of a metaphor in both art and life. So I used a color shaper to start doing the big parts of this negative space painting. And, after I finished, it was so dry in my studio that this paint dried so fast I couldn't really move it around much once I got it down. And I probably should have used a brush, maybe with a little bit more water. But, it is what it is. It's an exercise. But that was just kind of one of my takeaways after I did this, is I think I could have really utilized a brush better and a little bit more water. And this kind of exercise is not really about creating a finished piece. It's not about making something that is, a masterpiece. It's a creative and therapeutic activity that can, I guess, enhance, both your art practice and your well-being. And I'm going to show you some close-ups here in a minute of this, and I'll show you the final piece. But I did come back and add a little bit of cut paper from a previous painting that I had cut, and added a little bit to this so you can see the final piece with that paper. And this really encourages playfulness. This kind of exercise really encourages a playful attitude towards art. By not worrying about the final outcome at the start, you kind of free yourself to experiment and enjoy the process. So it makes art feel less like work and more like a joyful release and exploration. So here's some close-ups. And you can see the textures in there and then some of the underpainting. And I'll show you the final piece here that has that cut paper at the bottom. So just a quick exercise to help you relax, get creative, and clear your mind. So thanks for watching, and keep on painting.